there crafters, it's Louise with you on behalf of Kitaholic Kits today, and what I'd like to share with you is actually two layouts. And I started the month of January off with some fun, easy mixed media techniques for backgrounds, and then I'm going to turn those into layouts stash busting some previous kits. So I haven't actually got my January kit yet, and that's why I'm going to show you just a couple of techniques. And who doesn't love stash busting? Let's face it, we can all take the opportunity to use up some of what we've collected over the previous year. So let's get creating an easy background. So what I've done is taken a paste. In this case, I've used the Nuvo embellishment paste, and I'm just going to use a spatula to add some stripes to the background, leaving them with some of the black cardstock showing through. So the second mixed media background, while the mousse is drying, is some watercolor stripes. So all you need is your watercolor palette, some water, and a paintbrush. Now I've combined blue and yellow, and I want them to sort of blend together, and then I'm going to add in that little bit of green as well. So very simple techniques, nothing that's too challenging. You don't need lots of tools or gel mediums or gesso or anything like that. You can use plain cardstock and the supplies that you've got at home. Now I've taken 3 previous kits from last year. I didn't have too much left of a couple of the kits, but I had quite a bit left of the Cocoa Vanilla Midnight collection, and that was purely just because I found it more challenging to work with because it wasn't quite the bright colours that I like to create with. So what I'm trying to do is go through, and I haven't chosen a picture yet. What I'm doing is thinking about the background that I've created with this sort of very light aqua color going on, and picking out elements from the collections that I've got, the kits that I've got left, and putting together a layout. So the little 3x4 Project Life card said together is the best place to be. So looking through my photo stash, I saw this old photo taken 8 years ago now, while we were on our honeymoon. So I decided that that suited the Project Life card, and that's what gave me sort of the idea for this page. Now I'm adding little elements as I go along here. You can see I've popped a doily in the background. There's nothing particularly difficult. This is mostly just about adding layers and developing the background to differentiate between the actual memory. So these thickers, again, they're not a perfect match to the colours that I've got going on, but I love how they fit into the final layout as you see it develop. So I sort of am thinking about this, I've got an interesting area of cluster for my photo. There's nothing, too much more I want to add. It doesn't need too many layers. It's got the little pop of the doily. It's mounted, and it's got that 3x4 Project Life card on there as well. So I'm looking at the background thinking, okay, how can I just lift it that little bit further? And what I decide to do is actually get my Silhouette Cameo out and have a bit of a play around with a cut file in the background. So I'm going to do most of that off camera, and I'm also going to back a particular area of the floral element, so that it just again is not only stash busting some of the pieces left from previous collections, but it's just helping to lift it off the page that little bit further. Now, as you can see, I've mostly done a lot of my adhesive off camera. I am going to glue most of these elements onto the back of the page, just because they tend to stick a little bit better on the mediums in the background if I use the tacky glue as opposed to the actual double-sided tape. Now, I had some chipboard stickers left, so I'm going to make that floral cluster just a little bit more interesting by adding some of those stickers, a little butterfly. But essentially, apart from sticking everything down, this is my first simple background with Stash Busted kit from 2018. So let's move on now and have a look at the second background that I made, and we're going to turn that into a layout. This one I found quite a bit more challenging. Not so much the layout itself, but getting a photo to fit with it. I wanted to do multi-photo because I know that when you guys watch a video, you like to see us do multi-photo layouts. So I'm trying to work these 3 photos in, and eventually you'll see one of them gets left off, the one that's got primarily yellow, and I stick with more of the pinkish kind of photo to leave on the layout. So I'm looking at this watercolor background and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I like the watercolor background, but it just needed something more. It needed black to make it more interesting. So I just took my black pencil and my circle cutters and just added those circles in all different areas. Now, again, with this particular layout, at this stage, I'm sort of thinking, okay, the first page, the honeymoon page came together really easy, but this one seems to be stretching my creativity a little bit further. And you can see that I'm laying things out on the page, but I'm not sticking anything down as yet because I'm just still not sure about how I'm going to progress with that background. So I decide that even though I've got this striped background, I've drawn these black circles into the background. So I'm going to dig out some of the circular elements from previous kits, and I'm going to have a bit of a fiddle around with that on the page and just see what I can come up with. Now, as this develops, sometimes you'll notice, it looks really fast when I'm doing the layout, but a lot of times I'm turning off the camera, leaving it sit there, having a think about what I want to do next. You might watch 4 or 5 minutes of video, but what you actually see could have taken me anywhere from 45 minutes to 3 hours to a week. Sometimes they'll sit on my desk and I'll procrastinate them before I'll actually get to the final stages of a layout. So a lot of the times I just turn the camera off and think about what I want to do and show you what I'm doing on the actual video, as opposed to having you watch me just think about what I'm going to do. Now, the black splatters I've added in there, and again, turn the camera off, let them dry. And then I'm sort of looking through my stash and I still needed something a little bit more. And I thought to myself, okay, what have I got in my stash that I need to bust? What is there a lot of? I could have done stamping, I could have added some stamping around that circle. I could have added paste to a stencil, but I looked at what I had in my collection and I thought, okay, washi tape. Everybody's got washi tape. So I'm going to make some little areas of interest. There's nothing too technical here. I've just taken, again, some different black washi tape. Some of them I'm leaving whole, some of them I'm tearing lengthwise. And I'm just going to mount those little areas of interest, so the heart and the circles, with foam squares, just to help, again, lift that little bit further. And as this developed, I became a lot more happy with how it turned out. It certainly, in the beginning, it was quite a challenge for me, but as I progressed, it did turn into a layout that is certainly not my typical lots of paper layers, but I love that I've been able to show you guys just a simple background technique and something as easy as some circles and some washi tape to actually create a page. So I hope you enjoyed that from me. Comments, of course, are always welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed.